Alright, what's going on guys, it's Panicking here, and I'm just really nobody that's just playing Cold War right now, as you see. I want to touch on a topic about the state of gaming as of the last couple of years, and how there seems to be a sort of divide. In terms of gaming itself, it does seem like it is in a bad place, you know, with all sorts of bad news coming about specific games not being up to quality as they were expected to be. But I feel like there's still a lot to be excited about with games, and to say that the state of gaming is dying, essentially, I think it's kind of wrong, because there's still a lot of things that you can consume out there that are still really good. So I want to touch on a couple of topics. Before that, I want to touch on this game right here with Call of Duty specifically. And to put it lightly, it's in a heap of shit. Like, I literally installed Modern Warfare 2 to go back to Cold War just to start playing zombies. Like, I love zombies, I'm a zombies guy. But now, like, you see right here, I'm playing snipers only, running them with my friends and actually like having fun on a 2-year-old game, because Modern Warfare 2 is just bad right now. I think three main points about like the state of Call of Duty itself is that Warzone is really bad right now, because no one plays Warzone 2, and now they're shutting down Warzone 1 and around like September-ish to force players on the worst product instead of actually improving the new product that they have. So like typical Activision shenanigans going on. And Modern Warfare 2 specifically, it is the biggest disappointment in COD history. I'm talking about disappointment, not worst game, because it had the greatest COD debut in terms of sales, like 4.4 million. That's the most in franchise history, and we were supposed to get 2 years of content for this game, but now it's in a really bad spot. And now there's rumors of a potential Modern Warfare 3 that's going to be rushed out by Sledgehammer, much like Vanguard. So it just sucks that Modern Warfare 2 had so much promise, but now it's just completely in the gutter. The Call of Duty as of now is in a really bad state after being very promising after or before the launch of Modern Warfare 2. The main thing I want to transition into is, if you're just playing a lot of the annual releases like Call of Duty or 2K or FIFA, all that, you're gonna feel like games that you're playing aren't like good enough. Like, it's not that fulfilling if you're just playing the same game over and over every single year to get the same thing. And that's why I want to touch on single player games being in an incredible spot as they are right now, because there has not been a better time to enjoy single player games than now, because there's so many mainstream games coming out that are coming out next year, and a lot of games that have come out in the last couple of years that have been absolutely incredible. Like, specifically for last year, Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok were incredible launches. Especially Elden Ring was the first time in a while that gaming felt accomplishing. And even for this year too, Tears in the Kingdom, the sequel to the one of the biggest Nintendo games of all time, came out. And of course, people were going to be excited about that. And I think this just goes into my main point, that there's still so many games out there that you can go ahead and try for yourself. Like, no one specifically or any sort of restriction is being placed upon you for trying out so many different games. Like, maybe you even have a backlog. I sure have a backlog. Since I've looked at my games library on both PlayStation and computer, I saw I needed to finish a lot of games, and here's some of the games that I have to finish. But there's also a good chance that you have a backlog of games. So it just comes down to whether or not you're really comfortable to step out your comfort zone. That's the main thing. Like, there's so many games out there that you can try for yourself and genuinely have a fun time in playing. It just all comes down to yourself. If you're still playing the same games out there, you're not gonna have that much fun with the games, because it's gonna get tiring. You can't play the same game for a long period of time. You have to take breaks with it. Some people might say that there not that many good games right now, but as I said, there's like Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy 16. That's like a completely new title, not a sequel. There's just always something to try out. For every bad open world Ubisoft game that comes out, there's always going to be a new exciting Insomniac game to come out. And a lot of people say that gaming is stagnating, but in general, only comes down to what you're looking at. Gaming is only stagnating if you really choose to look at it that way, because there's still a lot of things to be excited about. Like, I'm personally excited about Spider-Man 2 coming this October, and then Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth for next year, Persona 3 Reloaded, that's also coming out next year, and also the many games on my backlog. As of now, single player games are in a great spot. So many games coming out to be excited about, and a lot of games that you should go back and explore. And the second one I want to talk about for games is multiplayer games, and this is where it does seem like the quality of a lot of multiplayer games is really taking a hit. Like, for example, I mentioned the annual release games with NBA 2K, FIFA, the Call of Duties, and essentially just releasing the same game every year without any sort of improvements and cashing in on just quick money. I mean, they're always the biggest selling titles in America, at least, so it does seem like they're taking a hit. The main thing that I'm really worried about is if they turn out to be like how Overwatch 2 is, because the way that whole franchise turned into a shell of its former self. If you were around playing the first Overwatch, it was so much fun. I think I have around only 30 to 40 hours playing it, but playing that back in the day, like 4, 5, 6 years ago, was genuinely fun. But now they made a hollow sequel just to cash in on more money and as much more microtransactions into the game. Even though there's all of these negative factors in multiplayer games specifically, there's still a lot of nice multiplayer games that are out there. I think the biggest one that came out recently, Street Fighter 6, a lot of people have been playing and loving it. I think it has like 2 million copies in the first week. And there's this one game called BattleBit Remastered. Now, you might have seen it, and it looks like a Roblox game that's $15, but it's still super popular because it's just fun. It has one of the highest active player bases. I think it's in like the tens of thousands, and it's just because it is fun. So that just goes back to, my main point about the comfort zone in multiplayer games. You have to go out of your way to try and find some games out there that you don't really know about, but you can just explore. You can definitely explore and try to find not only some other multiplayer games, like some new multiplayer games, but also revisiting older games. As I did with Cold War just now. It's just up to you about how you want to see, especially multiplayer games, even though it does really seem really bleak for multiplayer games. There's still a lot of fun that you can have with multiplayer games in general. I think the main thing though is to revisit a lot of the old games. Just have fun with your friends. Just relive the good times sometimes. So overall, in my opinion, I think gaming is still in a really good spot, whether it be single player or multiplayer, because there's still a lot of promise, a lot of potential, a lot of exciting games, and ultimately just stepping out of your comfort zone to try and find new games that you might enjoy. Some of my favorite games, they're just random recommendations from some of my friends. One of my friends recommended me Nier Automata. I had no idea what the hell it was about. But I played it. It's one of my favorite games of all time now. So, but yeah, the gaming's still a really good spot. If there isn't really any games that you're excited about, then you can go back and play many other old titles to really get the experiences that you want to have. So yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about. Hope you enjoy my little rambling about games and stuff. Just starting out with this type of stuff. So if you want to see more, then stick around for the ride. So I'll see you guys later.